Welcome back to another episode of Mom Tradiction.
Welcome back.
Welcome. Hi.
Tonight, we're going to get into the good stuff. We're going to talk about screen time, extracurricular activities, and homework, and how they all work together and work against each other. They're great and they're terrible. It's the Mom Tradition.
Do your schools give homework? Do your kids get homework?
Yeah, so my daughter's in first grade.
Yeah.
So she's getting a little bit of homework. She's on the homework teaser right now,
Okay.
which I greatly appreciate them slow on ramping us to the homework because
Yeah.
I forget half the time and she only gets homework one day a week. So
Yeah. My daughter's in first grade, but they don't do homework. It's read 20 minutes.
Yeah, ours is a math paper every night and read a little every night.
this is your second grader.
Second grader.
Yeah.
What y'all doing first?
Once a week, and a reading log, once a month-long reading log that you could or could not fill out. We did it, and I tried to hold her accountable, but it wasn't the school. I don't think cared if she did it or not. I wish there was more homework. So this is where I chime in as a teacher, and I'm I think unfortunately we've gotten rid of homework, and one of the arguments I hear is well, nobody ever did it, and so it's this goes back to the kind of the lowering of the bar where I'm
Who
homework.
didn't do the homework? I always was doing homework.
Yeah, well, schools aren't what they were 20 years ago.
Really?
25, 30. We were in elementary school, 30 years ago?
First grade. Now,
That's harsh, but okay, I get it.
So yeah, when were we? It was
30 years.
32 years ago.
Well, probably
my
31
gosh.
years ago for me, or maybe I'm a little younger than you guys.
Okay, don't throw it out there it's a lot. I'm a little younger than you guys, very little, like a sliver.
Right, text message from Julian that says, "Happy birthday, Grandma."
Y'all know, I don't know. Well, no, because y'all both aren't on social, but this is a popular thing on social right now that, when somebody's just 30 years ago, your brain automatically goes to 1975.
Yeah.
But 30 years ago was actually 1994. And that is bananas.
Yeah. And I was fourth grade crushing. Yeah. But so no, as a teacher, I feel strongly that this is one of those lowering bar situations where I'm it's really good for kids. Research says it's good. It takes things from short-term memory and puts it into long-term memory. And I just think there's some really good effects of homework.
So do your high school give homework?
Not all the classes, rarely. Yeah. So higher level classes do. It's the nature of the higher level class. So if you're in an AP class or an honors class or some biomed pathway, you're getting homework to keep up with the workload. But most of those standard classes, and I'm a special ed teacher, so I'm in co-taught classes. So no, we don't ever do homework. And I agree, it's not wrong to say every once in a while we'll try to assign homework and say, if you don't finish, do this for homework. And the participation is low. Another argument, nowadays, and another argument nowadays is the cheating, technology. So, if you see on the worksheet, they have this photo math app, and the photo math is in my opinion, it's so advanced because you take a picture of a math problem, and it not only gives you the answer, but it gives you line by line. If it's an algebraic equation, it'll show you the line.
Show you your work.
And so the kids can show their work and do the thing and make it look like a perfect thing.
Gosh.
And then turn it in. So it's I do agree that I don't know. What do you do?
Yeah.
Because, the thing is, it's in my daughter's school is big on this. It's teaching kids how to think, right? Because there is so much that AI can just do for you or a calculator or whatever. And so it's even the stuff that they send home and they talk about how they break out the numbers and how they want the kids' brains to do X, Y, and Z. And even in the books they have them read, the idea is that they are thinking critically about the story and that they're able to really, they focus so much on reading comprehension.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the real thing, because at the end of the day, these computers can do so much for us and AI can do so much for us, but we are the only species with this complicated brain and communication structures, we have to be able to do something with it, you know? It's just crazy to think that kids are just out here taking pictures of math problems.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, and COVID really sped that up, unfortunately, because there was like this perfect storm of the technology was already becoming a thing. They had cell phones in their hands, and then everything got put on Chromebook. So, or like laptop or whatever, like Google, everything, different programs that they run it through the internet. And so as students went through that, basically, I'm going to say 2 years where everything went digital, that was a huge, no matter what grade you look at. So if you think of when you were out of school for COVID, if you were kindergarten, that was awful. Like you missed phonics. You had a teacher looking through the computer. Like that was a big deal. But if you were in 6th grade, that's when you start to get to advanced math. And maybe you didn't log in that day, or maybe, you know what I mean? Or maybe your friend, because they also like, they share documents to each other. So I always take, and I always take the role as like I know who I would have been in high school, and I would have definitely been like, hey, can you send me that paper? Ask me that, because I was invested in the social side of school, not the academic side of school. And so it's like, it's a really interesting thing that we're still trying to unfold. Like I've worked with English teachers that they make the kids hand write the rough draft. I think is really wise, because anything they do on the computer, they're cheating. And when I say they're cheating, I don't mean every single kid. Like there are really hard.
They are.
No, they are.
2 friends that are professors at the local college, and they do all their exams in person. All their exams are written now because of ChatGPT. They're like, we're just going to read the same paper over and over if you don't do it like that. So it does put the students on the spot a little bit more, but that's just like the world we're in, you know, is you got to even kick it old school.
Well, and I'd love to see it go back. Even test scores, there is proof. There has been some research that the kids score better on a paper assessment. So we have these like Maryland state assessments spread across some grade levels, and now they're all computerized, and they can't cheat because they do this lockout system where like they can be in the test and back out and go, but they don't score as well. And then it goes back to this same thing. It's like teachers were always looking at test scores. And so it's like, well, chicken or the egg, because as soon as we switched to a computer-based test, scores went down. But now scores have also gone down from COVID and years, like this gap in learning and standards changing and all these things. So it's like, it's a really tricky thing, because is it as simple as like, we just have to rebuild their stamina? Like they have no stamina because they don't have and myself included, like how lazy is my brain getting with AI to just constantly be like, hey Siri, what's the blah, blah, blah. Hey, like, I don't really have to like work for anything anymore. So imagine.
It's funny you say that, because I, the other day, wanted Justice to look up a word. Like, I forget what she did, but I remembered that my mother would have made me go get the dictionary, right? And look the word up.
Dictionary.
So I was like, hey, go look on that shelf and see if there's a dictionary. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's a big red book.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't even have a friggin' dictionary. She looked for several minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even have a dictionary in this house. So I couldn't even like follow through with the lesson I was trying to teach. Like, go read, Mom. Because I don't even have a dictionary.
I don't have a dictionary.
Hey, Alexa, what's this word mean? Yeah. It's too easy.
Yes, because I wanted her to see the definition and then I wanted her to write it.
Yeah.
But like the physical act of doing it. But I didn't have a dictionary. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
How about this? So have y'all had to do school projects yet with your kids for homework?
Well,
really.
We had to do a turkey. Did you have to do a turkey? We had to like dress up a turkey, and like then she had to write
like
about
make
it.
a turkey? Like a
No, so it was like a
mean?
little turkey cartoon, and then like you would decorate, like you were trying to disguise it so it wouldn't like be eaten for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
So, you know, we did Turkey Swift, you know, and then like she just had to write the whole thing about it. So that was like a project.
That's cute.
Yeah.
And I forgot, we had a summer project this year that we had to like, she had to do a little research on pyramids and do a diorama.
I used to love
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. It was like in a shoebox. So it was like, old school.
Yeah.
We recently, we had a Thanksgiving one too.
Yeah.
They did a a Native American wetu. Like, it's kind of like it's like a little hut, but it has a dome shape. And each
Okay.
kid in first grade had to make one. And y'all know I'm very new into the stay-at-home mom game.
Uh-huh.
So I was like very serious about it. Every day she came home from school, like, we got to work on your wetu. You got to
Yeah.
work on your wetu.
They
You don't
do
want
it.
to wait till the night before to do the work on your wetu.
Yeah.
And we did it. And like all the kids show up with their wetus. And the teachers sent video of everybody's. And then I was like, yeah, you can tell the moms that stay at home.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
So it's just thrown together.
Yeah. 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 And
And
yours
I
is
was
like
very proud about
structurally
it.
like whatever, like could survive a, I don't know, natural disaster of some sort. Yeah.
Yes. I
Yeah.
was had a lot of hot glue involved. Some kids had paper mache. I was like, oh, okay,
Oh,
y'all
wow.
fancy.
I gotta
And
tell you,
then
hot glue, like I've only gotten on the hot glue train probably in the past like 2 years. I want to hot glue everything. Like nothing else sticks.
it's
Like
wildly
literally,
effective.
yeah. I don't know.
We tried
I've been
paper
hot
cement,
gluing.
or no, rubber cement,
Okay.
but it didn't do anything.
Well, I'm
I was
trying to
like, well,
use
this is
those,
a waste.
those like glue dots? Like, do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about? Yeah.
yeah.
Those things, no, not,
Hot glue.
yeah,
That's where it's at.
hot glue. So I just made a balloon arch. We're having a party tomorrow. What are your feelings on hot gluing balloons to balloon?
Feel like that might not
Yeah.
work.
Are they gonna melt? And
Well,
like,
I don't know. I was thinking it was a good idea because I'm on the hot glue train,
I
but
mean, if you just do
Luke was like, they're going to
the part that you
explode.
tie,
Yeah. So I'll let you know how it goes.
let us know.
Okay.
It might be your fail next week. We'll see.
It might be. Oh, yeah. It might be. It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
so how do you
But
guys feel as parent? Like as a teacher, as a parent, I like the homework. I'm into the homework and I'm not bothered by the homework, even when we're busy. And trust me, like I'm bothered by my child's reaction to homework. Like it's
yeah.
not, I don't know if that makes sense. Like it's
Yeah.
not like lovey dovey, but I'm like, I will lean in on the homework. And there's some parents at the school that I think complained that it was a little too much homework. So they pulled it back a little bit. But I am up against this, like I am watching the high school culture where kids are so dismissive of like responsibility and, just anyway. So I'm like, just curious, what's your average parent? Are you like, bring it on. I want my kid to be like a hard worker, intelligent, or are you like, I was a little crazy last year when she wasn't getting homework. I would like
Yeah.
stuff and we would do a little extra at home because I was paranoid. Like it's just because
Yeah.
I'm in school
Yeah.
special ed teacher and I was
So
paranoid.
we do that. I have like a binder for her. And like every week I kind of like, I feel like I'm like homeschooling in a way,
Yeah.
but I also just try and like, they work at a different pace. So there's certain things of like money. We're doing like money stuff, where I feel like at school they've like touched on it maybe, but not really. Like we did a bunch of stuff about like space, just me and her.
So
And
you
like,
really are doing your own like
yeah. And then like
Yeah.
math facts, just because I like kind of want like just the quick stuff, you know what I mean? So you can just, because even me sometimes I'm like 5 + 7 is, I get the fingers going. So I'm like, girl, like, let's, you know what I mean? And then reading comprehension, like I'll print out a lot of stories and like have like questions for her to read. So it's like that kind of thing. But honestly, I don't care as far as like
The
from the
school
school's
given.
perspective. I'm like, I don't
you
know.
feel
I
like
don't
it
care.
is your responsibility to kind of like, I'll take this on to make sure my kid. Yeah.
And like for me, like at least with Stella, like she loves learning and is so into it. Like she's like, what's homework today? Let me see this binder. So I just want to capitalize on her like loving it. You know what I mean? So then
Yeah.
there's some days where she's like, I want to go play at the big field. And I'm like, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want it to stay like fun and something she's like, yeah, I want to do this, And then my dad
Yeah.
just got her a subscription to Highlights magazine.
I love highlight.
Yeah. So it came in the mail and I was like, I asked him, I'm like, was this supposed to be a, like Christmas gift, And he was like, no. And then like I showed her and she was like, well, what is this? And I was like, this is the coolest magazine. It's going to come every month and like, it has games and whatever. And then she's up in her room on her desk, like reading the stories and like doing like the hidden pictures. And then like I came in and I'm like, bam, 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 bam. Like I found
You
all
missed
of
one.
them. She's like, yeah. She's like, Mom, you're good at this. So I'm like, well, I'm an old woman doing my kids like different
I used to
pictures,
take my Highlight magazine on the way to Blockbuster to pick out
Yeah. But it was really cool. Yeah. So I recommend it. I feel like it's like kind of a good gift too. Like, because it's like
It's a great gift.
yeah. So like highlights. I'm like, heck
I'm
yeah.
now thinking like, Dad, why didn't I think of that when everyone was asking us what to get the
Well,
kids?
and I feel like mail has kind of like lost its like, do you remember being a kid and like,
Yeah.
or even like a teenager and like getting the mail,
Mhm.
And I feel like now, like, it's not that big of a, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't get stuff. I don't know. So I feel like
No,
it's
I
like
still
fun.
send people cards.
So do
I
I. I
send
send
I
like,
send like
yeah, I love
cards
mail.
for no reason. Because
And I'm
literally,
always like,
is that a card for me?
yeah, yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, because like the mail is such a drag. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's just, it can still be this little source of delight in your day.
And like, that's so like joyful. Like, I know how I
Yeah.
feel when I open it and anything, or it'll be dang like Anderson windows, they like will like handwrite your name. So you're like tricked. And then you
Yeah.
open it and it's like, you can have window, I hate
Yeah,
it.
you're
I
like,
get like,
thanks.
so like, here we go. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm hearing we should start a pen pal group with our
Yeah,
kids.
for sure.
Letters to each
Pen
other.
pals.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I love that idea. They
Wait,
can
like,
write letters to each other.
we should do this. I'm going to
That's
write
so
it
cute.
down.
Justice would be down.
Yeah.
She'll be
My
so
gosh.
into it.
Yeah, that'd be
But
so
yeah,
cool.
about our homework, I actually, so I like the homework
Mhm.
because the truth be told, I feel like time gets so busy and like, truth, I also like let her watch a lot of TV sometimes and
Mhm.
just like the day to day that I won't even know what's going on at school.
Wow.
So the homework for me is like a good touch point to be like, "Really, you guys are working already?" You
Yes.
know,
Oh,
yeah,
that's true.
I would have
Yeah.
not known because if I asked her when she gets in the car, how was your day? Fine. What
Yeah.
did y'all do in Miss Cabrera's class? Nothing. Like she just like the day. If I ask her to describe her day, it like kind of falls flat. If I
Yeah.
ask her what was her favorite part of the day,
Yeah.
sometimes I get a little extra.
Yeah.
But generally, I
What
don't
happened
get we were working on XYZ. One thing they do at her school is this program called Reading Buddies, where kids from the older grades come to read with the younger grades
Oh,
on
that's cool.
Fridays.
Yeah.
And she loves her reading buddy. So like
So
that's
it's the
something that
same buddy every
she's like,
day.
you
Yeah.
know, Allison came today and we read
Yeah.
XYZ. We got to read
Yeah.
3 books and like she loves having this big kid that's her friend. I think her
Yeah.
reading buddy's in 6th grade or 5th
Oh, wow.
grade.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So she absolutely loves that. But other than that, I really don't know what they're doing in class
Yeah.
unless I pay attention to the homework.
Right.
So they get homework on Mondays. It's due Thursday. So we have the whole week. And like when she had that project, they got it on a Monday and it was due the following Monday. So we had a whole week to, make that construction project. But I think, and I feel like our perspectives on this aren't really varied. I think
Yeah.
we all pretty much value education and Lindsay
Yeah.
and I were in some classes together at Clemson. I minored in education. So I very firmly believe that it's it's a partnership with the educators.
Okay.
It's not me to just send my kid to school. I'm supposed to be bought in too. And so I feel like the homework is an opportunity for me to do that and not feel like I'm just like, on the sidelines of, oh yeah, I pay and I send her and she goes and like whatever, she's learning, right? She's y'all's problem from 8 to 3. Like I want to have that mindset,
Justice, who? I don't know. Like, they to 3.
Yeah. Well, and in schools are like having like all-time low engagement. Like it's a problem at a lot of school areas where like PTAs are folding. Back to school night has like lowest attendance ever. So it's
Really?
like it's a weird, yeah, we're in the minority. So it is an unusual thing. So,
Huh.
I'm sure well, and like Julianne, describe your school. Cause I'm like,
What do you mean?
your school with how many like kindergarten classes were there?
Oh, I don't know, 10 or 12.
Big school.
Have you
Yeah,
ever
so
heard of such a thing?
our like area has really grown, I guess. Like it's ballooned pretty fast. So like even our elementary school, it used to go to 5th grade. Now it goes to 4th grade and it's still like not enough space.
But I didn't know, like, my child had
Yeah.
3 kindergarten classes. And I remember when we were talking, you were like, yeah, there's like 10 or 11. It was like,
And each one has like 24 kids.
yeah, like I could not wrap my head
Yeah.
around, like,
But it's also like the school is like, it's a public school, but it's like so amazing. Like the other day, Tuesday night, they opened it up for parents to come, and each hallway decorated for like the holidays. So like one did like Candyland, but I'm talking like I was blown away at the like detail. Like one did movies, and it was just like, I'm like, oh my gosh. But then like you could come in and just walk around. And then this morning it was like super cold. So at drop off, like the principal and vice principal are in these like inflatable snowman suits with like a boom box playing like the Frosty the Snowman song, So like as all the kids are walking in. So they just do such a like, I don't know. It's like
fun.
Yeah, they really do
making
keep
them
it
love
fun.
school. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I don't know, but yeah.
And
So
then, so
homework.
now one of you mentioned after school, or no,
Yeah.
maybe, or no, somebody said screen.
Well, so, yeah, this is all the after school stuff. So, okay,
Yeah.
homework,
Yeah. So what do your kids
extracurriculars.
do? What like what do your kids do? Or do you anything? Or
I don't know if I should go first or last on this one.
Yeah, I feel like your kids do everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But it's because you're their mom.
yes. So I did everything growing up. Like I played a ton of sports. I took piano lessons. We did all the things. I had a big brother that did as much stuff. So to me, it feels like really natural. Because I'll talk with other parents that are like, what are you doing? So, I mean, and it's not, I don't think it's that crazy, but we have something right now. The only day without anything is Friday. Saturday, there's like a hockey program in the morning, and then some basketball games scattered for Zoe. And then Sunday's another hockey. Now, hockey's only 4 weekends, but it's like this immersion program where you do it Saturday and Sunday for 4 weekends in a row. So that's where, like, to me, that's not even a commitment because it's just 4 weekends.
Yeah,
like,
that's just a month.
I don't know. So 1 month, but then it overlaps with basketball. And then there was like a different basketball program for Isla because she's only 4. So like, then there's a different one on a Saturday afternoon. So and then Sunday, futsal for Zoe. Mondays, futsal.
What?
Futsal, like indoor soccer. You like play soccer on a basketball court, kind of. And so like, we'll just call it soccer.
Julianne are like,
what the fuck? Futsal? You freaking made up something to like take up a Sunday? You freaking made up futsal?
Futsal.
So
how do you spell it?
Yeah, how do you spell it?
F-U-T.
Wait, F-U-T?
U-T?
F-U.
Yeah.
No, T-S-A-L.
Okay.
So anyway, but it's indoor soccer. So there's soccer Sunday afternoon, soccer practice Monday, Tuesday's gymnastics for both of them.
I'm exhausted.
Wednesday is basketball practice. And then after basketball, there's a little lacrosse clinic that's almost done, but she does that for like 2 more weeks. And then
Lindsay, I am exhausted.
Thursday, we're starting jiu-jitsu, that's Kevin's doing.
Jiu-jitsu.
And then Friday is like family night, like movie night, game night. We are finally home and it feels amazing. And then we just start it all again. And I coach a lot of the stuff too, like the sports, like soccer, basketball.
So we're very opposite on this.
Yeah. The mom prediction, because
we are also very opposite on this.
So my reason is one thing at a time.
Yeah. So my reason is this is a short, like very short period of time where they will do whatever we tell them to do. So like,
so did they tell you they want to do this stuff, or you just, okay.
But they love it. Yeah. So like, this is not some weird, like forcing it, like their friendships are. So for me, I can tell you, like, who played all the sports. I was really good at sports. I'm like, and I know we already talked about the stupid high school reunion, but like, that's a good example of like, I went back and it was good to see people, but it was great to see people that I played sports with. Like, I know that when I was a tall, athletic girl, like it did something powerful to my confidence to be an athlete versus just a girl, like competing for boys' attention. Like there was a confidence and a friendship and camaraderie, all these things that I basically credit sports to. So, and it like opened doors for me Like,
Yeah.
I would have never gone to Clemson. I would have never like that. Just it like opened doors. And anyway, so it's important to me to at least have some kind of tie to that healthy activity. Competition's good. I also feel strongly that with girls, it's a unique place to learn teamwork, and kind of like collaboration sounds a little too formal, but it's like so often like women as adults, they're competing against each other, and it's kind of like there's
Yeah.
only room for one at the table. But I'm like, sports doesn't do that to you. Like, you really bond over being on the same team, and like they're matching hair bows and matching socks, and it's like
Yeah.
this whole thing. So like there's a deeper meaning to it. I'm not trying to be busy just to be busy. Like, I really do believe
Yeah.
it's essential for like young girls, and it doesn't have to be sports. Like, I'm not saying that, but there's like, because if a kid gets into like art or piano or cooking or any, like, it's like it doesn't have to be sports, but for us, that's just the easiest, most relatable thing. And here we are with a kid who like loves it. Like, she really looks forward to all the sports and her friendships. And we changed schools, and we, like, in retrospect, we didn't do this on purpose, but it was like she was really upset about like, well, what about my friends and da-da. And it was like the reality was, and she has brought this up herself, and she was like, well, actually, all my friends from school that were like good friends are the ones that she also played sports with. So all of a sudden, it's like those people never went away. Already at 7 years old, she's got these locked in friendships where it's like, it's really got nothing to do with school or neighborhood. It's actually the sports.
I just feel like I would be so tired. Like, I'm already tired, and we do one thing at a time. And that's kind of been my motto with Justice is this is what are we doing this season? We're doing soccer this season. All right, that season ended in 3 weeks, basketball starts. All right, what do you want to do after basketball? Like, just, I'm like, to think about doing more than one thing, just, it's so daunting to me. So
I
we're on,
cannot
on like a
imagine.
we're on a 4 week break, I think. And then gymnastics starts like January 9th. And then, yeah, basketball ended last month. So we are on like a month break. And I'm like, thank God I don't have to wake up on Saturday morning and go to a thing right now.
Oh my
Like,
gosh. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I coach the team. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
Saturday morning
Yeah.
basketball. I got my subs written out. I got like I just like love sports, which is, I'm able to admit that I'm like, this comes from a personal interest. But I will say this is like, this is the contradiction, because I'm like, when you tell me that you guys are home all week long with your kids, I'm like, what do you do? Like, that is daunting, because you're saying you're tired. I'm like, we're home one night a week, and they're like, the house, they mess the house up. They play with all their toys. They bicker with each other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get back to the activities tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I guess either way, because yeah, I basically clean my house all day. They just mess it up and I just
Yeah.
clean it up
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
day. That's why I'm tired. But I'm like not running around as much, I guess.
you
I don't
guys,
know.
do screens fill the afternoon at all for you? Like, that would be my next big question.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So it sort of depends because I'm um, like, I just feel like they're kids and they're already at like school all day. So I feel like they need some sort of like downtime, you know?
Mhm.
And then also, like, even if we don't do screens, I kind of feel like they need to be like bored in a way. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
to just kind of find themselves like playing together or like making forts or like, I don't know, just doing like whatever. And Stella does dance on Monday night. And then this year we just started, new to us is Girl Scouts.
Well, sweet.
So in the past, she's done like soccer, she's done art, she's done cooking classes. But this year she was really wanting to do Girl Scouts. I don't even know how she ever heard about Girl Scouts.
She saw the cookings for sure.
I think so, yeah. And it's been amazing. I like highly recommend. Well, I mean, Lindsay probably cannot like, yeah.
Yeah,
I
she can do that every other
just for the
Tuesday.
record,
Yeah,
no, I am like, oh, I would love to do, because I don't want to also make them like only play sports. So I am
yeah.
looking
So
for
Girl
other
Scouts for
things.
us is every other Saturday. And it's like 10 or 10:30 to noon. But then they also have a lot of other events and like things that you can go to and do. But I mean, we did one that was like democracy. So they learned about like voting, and then we like
That's
made like
important.
a city like on the ground. You know what I
Remote
mean? Like we
learning in
did like a
school.
planning. And then they did like it was just really stuff that I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like this is like really great. And then like the whole thing with the cookies is like teaching them to like have their own business kind of is like that's the like what's going by. You know what I mean? So we're just this week is gonna be like introduction to cookies. So I don't know what to expect. But
Well, I
it's
know
a
what to expect.
yeah,
Maybe
you got
some,
yeah, introduction to cookies.
sure, take my money, Julianne. We get it. You're
But
selling cookies next week.
Yeah, we hear
yeah.
it.
So
Put the link in here.
yeah, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
All our 20 views. But I don't know. The Girl Scouts has been like just really like a cool
That's awesome.
thing. Yeah.
No,
So,
I
but
love
yeah,
that.
we're
You're going to take a camping trip with
so we are. Yeah, we have
Yeah.
it. It's on the schedule. There's 2 camping trips on the schedule, and I'm not a camper. I mean,
Yeah.
but kind of funny. Like if dads want to come, so they get like cabins, you know. But if dads want to come, they have to sleep in tents outside. Which I appreciate, you know, because it's
Yeah.
all, you know what I
some
mean?
other
But it just,
dad. Yeah.
yeah. So like Luke was like, am I just like, if I go, am I gonna be the only guy? Like, is no other dad gonna go? I'm just gonna be like roasted
Out
hot
in the
dog
tent.
by
Or
like,
you're gonna have like the best time because the dads will kind of be out by the fire, just like, great,
yeah.
once again, we're chilling and
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's in, I think March or April. There's 2 camping trips planned. So, and that's what Stella's most excited for. Like, she's like, I want to go camping.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Girl Scouts, really good values, really good, like
Yes.
teaching and very like girl led, especially like our troop leader is very much of like, well, what badges do the girls want to work on, you know, and because there's badges for like everything. So like, it's just really cool. Highly
That's
recommend.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lindsay, I'm curious, do you feel like your girls are honing in on like a particular sport?
Yeah.
I have a hang up about this because in my brain, I'm like, what are you going to be a child prodigy of? Like,
Yeah, like Tiger Woods. Didn't Tiger Woods
like
start
this?
at 3?
Yeah, you doing 4 activities a week. I'm like, oh my God, first of all, I'm exhausted. Second of
Yeah.
all, like, how does she know what to focus?
No. So actually, that's a great question. And I feel like passionate about this is no. No to all of it. There is no expertise. There's no zeroing in. We will not reduce to like one sport because like we're teaching also like skiing and tennis and like life. Like she plays pickleball with us sometimes, like not well, but I'm like, no. This is about like what can you do for the rest of your life that will like release endorphins and bond you with other people?
And it's
Because
just
I'm like,
sport.
I lived that experience where my dad and I spent hours, weeks, years in the car traveling to basketball tournaments. And I was a really good basketball player. I got recruited. I blew the recruiting process and was like, nah, I don't want to do this at all. Like I was at the top of some level, whatever the level. Like I was at the top in high school and then it just didn't work out. And I'm a girl. There's no NBA. There's no nothing. The most you can hope for is a little money in college. And then for me, the way that it ended up like just taking the craziest left turn and I became a college rower, like, and I had never really rowed before. So it's like, it takes so much pressure off. Like my girls do not have that pressure. I don't even necessarily want them to go to college. Like the way things are looking these days,
Yeah.
that's not even necessarily the end game for them. So it's like, it's a great question, but I actually feel like there's a lot of, there's a lot of like poison in the water of youth sports. And I think
Yeah.
it's because of these clubs, these travel leagues have like pulled almost a reputation of sports of like, well, who are you playing for? Where are you going? And specialize. And it's like,
Well, and like you have to have money to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Like
it's so
you have
expensive.
to, like, you know, it's so expensive.
yeah. Now, what we are feeling already is the splitting of rec league versus a travel league. So like, is she going to do some travel leagues? I'm sure she is because it's just logistically, she's been playing since she was 3 and she's starting to get good at some stuff. And you just kind of get drawn in this one direction where if you stay in rec league, it's kids that have never played before trying out in third grade for the first time ever because they just want to hang with their friends. So it's like, there's gonna come a point where we have to make a decision about like, kind of not how serious do you want to take it, but just like, how hard do you want to play? But no, there is no prodigy. There's no nothing. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. How cool would it be if she ended up playing at Clemson lacrosse? Like,
Yeah.
built this new facility, but that is totally nothing to do with sports. That's just because like I have a like soft spot in my heart for that area, and it would be so cool. But
So I think I have like a warped thing in my mind around this that I actually have been actively working on.
Mhm.
So I grew up inner city Tampa, knew all the time that getting a good education was going to be my way out of that and like my only ticket. And when I became good at the random ass sport that is rowing, I was like, oh my God, my ticket's here. I gotta really focus on this and I gotta get out of here.
Okay.
And so I'm realizing recently that I've been applying that to my parenting and my like pick one thing and that's the thing we're doing at this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm 6'2". My daughter is the tallest kid in her grade. She's probably not gonna be the next Simone Biles, right? Like she probably
Yeah.
is gonna do basketball, volleyball. And so I've really been pushing basketball and she's like, I like it, but like I don't feel it in my body. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like feel it in your body already, you know? And she's like, I just want to do gymnastics. I just want to do cartwheels. I just want to flip and
Yeah.
try these things with my body. And I've been like, why does she want to do this? But it finally set in with me that like, number one, gymnastics is such a good foundation of just like body work,
Body.
right?
Yeah.
And like her being able to know her own strength
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how things feel in her body.
Yeah.
But like, two, I don't have to think about the Olympics right now. I just need to think about I have a 6-year-old and this is fun for her. And she loves the kids that are there. And so I've been working on this myself and I have her signed up for the spring and I'm not talking about basketball anymore unless she brings it up. And I got like her whole Christmas list is gymnastic stuff. But it took me a while. Like it took me a while to realize that it was me.
So I like love that. Like
That reason, right?
I feel like that speaks to me because I feel like as being tall, I've always been tall, 6 feet. That like I feel like I was always pressured, not so much by like my parents, but like by coaches or by just everybody of like, oh, you should play this sport, you should play basketball, you should play basketball. And it was just like, I don't want to. You should play volleyball. You should do rowing. You should, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, well, I don't, so I feel like it's cool to hear you be like, oh, I feel like she should play basketball, but like she wants to do gymnastics. You know what I mean? Or like just
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that feels like
I think,
it's
and that's
like
the thing too, I think as moms, because I also worry about the day that she realizes that she's like already as tall as Simone Biles and she's in the first grade. You know what I mean? And that like it's not gonna be her sport. I worry about that day. And so I'm like trying to force her into the thing that's gonna that's gonna
like,
grow with her.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But I don't think you can. Just think you have to just like love your kid and meet them in the moment that they're in.
Totally.
But that I will admit that has been hard for me in this area recently.
Well, so, and maybe if you switch your thinking though, is like, what if she dedicates herself to gymnastics and eventually it doesn't work out? Like, what does that teach her? No, in my opinion, that's a good thing. Like at a young, I mean, these kids are so resilient. Like they are just, we think we are the only one. Have you ever heard that thing? Like if you think in the future, you're anxious. If you think in the past, you're depressed. And if you stay in the present moment, you're happy. Like, I don't know if you've heard that before, but like kids don't carry that. So like, they're not worried about what they're going to do in 3, 5, 10 years. And so it's like, all this is going to do is it's going to teach her how to like everything you talked about, take care of her body, make friendships, work hard, accomplish goals. Even if she's Simone, I guarantee you Simone Biles right now is struggling with her identity now that she's retired. Is she retired? Now that she's retired from gymnastics.
But I don't know. Is she? I can't
she's
remember what they
forward.
said last time, if like she was gonna like come back again or not. But
So
anyway,
when she retires,
Whenever
like,
that is.
yeah, I guess you
what
could
I'm
be
saying
right.
is
Yeah,
I'm like, no matter what, there's lessons that come out of it. So like, if you kind of switch your thinking to like, oh gosh, I don't want to like set her up for failure. And it's like, well, where's the failure? She's learned
Yeah.
how to be strong. She's made friendships. She did this thing she loves. She dedicated herself. She learned all these awesome life skills. And then she's going to figure that out on her own. No one's going to be like, you're cut. You're too tall. Like,
yeah, yeah,
she's just going to slowly start to be like, I just don't, like, let me try something else. If you give her the confidence, if you're a mom that's going, this isn't for you, this isn't for you, like, what does that teach her? Because then when she looks at a certain, like a career, so say she wants to go into some male dominated career, has she been taught that like, well, that doesn't really fit you. That's not really you. Or has she been taught like, well, if I work hard enough, I can do it for as long as I want to do it. And like, I just think,
and I noticed that I put those limitations on myself even. I was working out this morning and like, I just automatically assumed that I wasn't going to be able to do the next rep at the weight. And I was like, oh no, I need to go down. And then I had to talk to myself and I said, why are you thinking that you just have to go down? You didn't even try it. And one of my good friends, she is a good voice in my head. And cause she'll just be like, oh, just try it, V. And just when she says it, I'm like, oh yeah, like I can just try it. But I also put those limitations on myself of like, I'm too tall, I'm too fat, I'm too awkward to try this. Oh, I'm in this yoga class and like, you're looking real bendy. I'm not going to do that. And I've got to get better at that and definitely not do it to my kid because I've definitely
it's also being like a tall woman and have been a tall kid. I think that also plays a little bit into, you know what I mean? The like, take up, you're always like, oh, I'm bigger than them. I'm taller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
no
like,
way I could do that. I'm way too big. Yeah.
So do you feel like do you miss out on, not miss out on time, but like are you always running around kind of, Lindsay? Or like,
no,
I guess I just feel like I am like, oh my God, every single day these kids are getting like older and older and like, you know what I mean? And time is just slipping through my hands. So I just wonder, like, do you feel that at all? You know what I mean?
It seems like you're very present in all of it though.
Yeah.
well, and I was going to say, I feel that. I feel the same where I'm like, man, time flies with these kids. And I do feel like that saying, the days are long, but the years go quick. Like someone wrote that on a baby shower card. And I'm like, oh my God, truer words were never spoken when raising kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we have discussed that it's going to feel different in these next couple of years because when Isla goes full force into her own sports teams, like now we four get in the car. Isla goes to everything. I go to everything. Kevin goes to
she's
almost
small
everything.
enough that you can like,
And she practices like Isla practiced basketball with us last night. She's 4. The next youngest kid is 6. I'm like, I don't care. I'm volunteering to coach. So my kid's going to be out
like,
here.
what are you going to say? Yeah.
So it's very bonded right now. Like, I don't feel like anything's slipping away. We do everything together. And then you also have to remember, I think too, is like, we're talking 1 hour a night. Like, 'cause it feels like 6 days a week, we're crushing it out there. But I'm like, we're talking 1 hour. Like,
but the commute and then dinner.
Yeah. Driving.
We're talking 80 minutes. 80 minutes and we're back home. So like, I mean, it's 10 minutes. We're like, this is little local neighborhood stuff. Now, is it always going to be that way? No, eventually if we start to do like travel sports, like already I live in a place where I need to get closer to a city if she's going to take lacrosse more seriously. Like it's too rural where I live. And it's like, we're not there yet. So right now I'm like, we're all together. We come home, we talk about school, we snack together, we get dressed, we head out and we're, like it's all very bonded.
Yeah.
And then if we have like a basketball game on a Saturday, we leave from the basketball game and we like go to a farm to pick out a Christmas tree. So like we're still doing all the same things. It's just 1 hour of an activity. gets put in there. She has fun with it. There's friendships that come out of it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I'm only living on that other side where every once in a while we're home for a couple afternoons, like in between seasons. So like I get a little taste of like coming home and just like, okay, put your stuff away, do your homework. And then it's like, and we got 3 more hours till
you go to bed.
And then it is like, for me, I just feel like, now, we have like a trampoline in the backyard. So like the kids, I do agree. And there's plenty of research that says like they need free time because that's where they get creative and being bored. I think one of you said being bored. And I'm like, they're all like important developmental things. But I still feel like, I'm like, they get it. And they have plenty of time to pick at each other and make a mess in the house or go ride bikes or jump on a trampoline or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you asked about if screen time is filling our time. And I think this is a huge mom tradition topic. I actually got a really interesting email from my kid's school this week about screen time. And the headmaster was basically imploring all of the parents to be on a united front. Like, I think that was like the title of the message was like United Front.
So were you like, what is this?
He literally sent us a 16-minute video of him going through research that is now coming to the surface about what is happening in kids' brains with being on these screens so much, whether it's, internet browsing in an unsupervised way or social media or smartphones or video games. Like, he talked a lot about how kids' brains are so elastic, especially up to like 9th grade even. And like our school, which we'll talk about in another episode and kind of unpack, but my kid goes to a bilingual school. It's an immersion program. So the whole idea is that kids' brains are like, I think the word is like neuroplasticity. And so their brains are literally like forming at this age, like, and we're creating the pathways by the things that we do with them and engage. And so that's how kids can learn language so easily in an immersion-based setting because their brain is just like forming at the same time. But in the same way, all of this screen time is rewiring kids because it's basically like breaking down their empathetic pathways to like converse with other human beings and like feel a certain way and be able to put themselves in other people's shoes. And it was fascinating to receive this email from him and him be like so serious and like from a place of care about the student. So, I messaged him back. I was like, hey, we're on board with what you're doing here. But I will admit, you asked Lindsay, do we have screen time a lot in the afternoons? And we do, because I agree that, they do need some downtime after being in school all day. But one of the things I do is I've switched my daughter's Netflix channel to Spanish. So, like, I feel like at least if you're going to watch the trash
put subtitles on, you know what I mean?
You're going to watch it in another language.
Like,
so you're
Spanish?
still learning? I don't let her use her tablet a lot without, like, tablet is like for traveling. I don't really let her just hang out with that. Sure. But I do let her watch TV, and she doesn't know any video games or anything like that yet. Social media especially is like really, really harming young girls in particular. All our kids are too young for social, but what do y'all think about this neuroplasticity argument?
Go ahead, Jules.
I just don't care. I mean, I know it sounds like crazy, but I'm just like, I think I'm just like Lucy, where I'm like, if you want to watch your iPad a little bit, that's fine. Like, we have, like, we'll play like Mario Kart as like a family. And like, I just am like, that's fine. Like, I like get that there's like all these studies and research and whatnot, but I'm just also just like, I don't care. I'm going to like live how I'm going to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just try not to like I just think like balance for everything. I think balance, because I think if you don't have a balance and if you go too far one way or the other, then like, well, what happens when your kid then goes to a friend's house who has unlimited
And they're
time. And
exposed.
then it becomes like, ooh, 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 like I've even seen it with, like, she has a friend whose parents are like, I don't think let her have like treats, I guess. So every time the girl comes over, she's like, oh, like I had candy corn out over like Halloween, and the girl's like, oh, candy that's just out. You know what I mean? So I just feel like, it becomes like I just try and balance, I guess, with anything, just balance. I don't know.
Are you talking
Well,
about me when I come
Right.
to your house? Because
Oh,
I
no, no, no,
totally
no,
wanted to
no.
bring that up
No,
right
no,
now.
no, 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 no. God, no. One of her little friends where it was like, and then I feel like she's always now like, it's in the neighborhood. She's like, can I come over?
Like,
Can I
let me
come
get them
over?
treats.
And I'm
yeah,
like, oh
she's
my
trying to get some
God.
Doritos.
I know, yeah. She's like, you guys got that red dye. You got the like, like, yeah, I don't know.
You
But,
get
like,
though on my I always am very I have no moderation as a adult. And you guys
yeah,
have known me, right? So if
yeah,
I'm
You're
partying,
0 or
I'm partying.
100.
And if I'm
yeah,
healthy, I'm
yeah,
healthy. I'm a person that doesn't have it. And I do worry that I'm basically passing that down to my kids. And then I'm not doing what you're doing where I'm I see your valid point of just moderation and use it a little because it's part of society and don't use it because I'm and I'll tell you what, so I have no moderation. And that is in my parenting style. There's no moderation. So I really truly say this that I'm I don't know what's best. I don't know how they're all going to end up in 10, 20
yeah,
years, but we are no screens during the week, school nights and that whole day, no screens. So the
yeah.
only time they're able to is on a Friday night or a Saturday night. And we don't typically do it in the morning because we're usually up and out to some
We don't
pesky
do it. I
way to
don't do it
go.
in the morning just because, like,
Yeah,
it's
we don't
like,
do it.
or like, yeah, I'm like, it's like, too short of it. You know what I mean? Like, we're up getting dressed,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But that's it. It's a hard, I highly
and you've
recommend it.
changed a lot. Like, you weren't always,
That
that
was
way,
actually
right?
one thing. No, this was, so we've done more screen time in the past, but
Yeah,
this was
yeah,
one thing that weirdly, again, I just have to cry, I'm a teacher.
yeah,
Yeah.
And from
yeah,
kindergarten, it's before, literally from the beginning, I've said no. I got a little stricter about school nights and I used to let them use the tablet in the house and now that's only for long road trips. So I've tightened up
yeah,
some things, but
yeah.
right from the jump, I was we're not doing any technology after school. And for me, I can tell you it goes back to the homework thing. I did not want to compete with homework and screen time. So again, I'm a no moderation
Yeah.
parent. I'm I don't have
Yeah.
the ability to set limits. I don't trust myself to set limits. I don't
Did
follow
they
timer.
use like Chromebooks at school at all, or any type of technology
They
at
did.
school?
They did at her other school and they don't now.
They
There's
don't
no,
use it.
not
Okay.
anymore.
Did your daughter use any type of like Chromebook or anything like that at
No,
school?
no,
No.
our
Yeah.
school doesn't do any of that
Yeah.
until the later grades. And so that's one of the different things about an immersion-based education is because it's so focused on the my kid's in first grade and she's just now starting to learn to read, where as I talk to a lot of other parents whose kids are starting that in kindergarten. But because they're so focused on it's a very and she's been going there since she was 2. It's
Yeah.
very play-based and just very language-based. The idea is
Yeah.
to learn how to live life in this other language and how to
Now, did
play
she
and have
speak
fun.
like fluent Spanish?
Yes.
That insane. Like
Yeah.
that is so amazing. Like that is like, I'm like, what?
Yeah. So they
Like,
really
I
don't use
wanna,
a lot of the stuff.
I'm
So when
jealous.
they actually had to do the state testing this year for first grade, they
Yeah.
had to teach the students how to use the computers for the test because none of the kids knew. It's just they've
Yeah.
been in this play-based, language-based mode and they haven't
Right.
been doing
Right.
any of that.
Right. Right.
I think the other thing though with that is that it was a little bit it it kind of felt a little discouraging the first time they took the test because they didn't know any of that. And they
Well, it's
had been
like,
so focused on all this other stuff. So my
yeah.
kid literally didn't know how to use the screens
Right.
for school-based
And then
stuff.
you're take a test, right? Where you're
Yeah,
like, you can't, what the heck is this about? Like, how are you gonna,
exactly. She
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
Mom, we had to learn all this stuff. She was a
yeah.
little bit overwhelmed at first, and then they just got done their second rounds and she's much more comfortable with it. But they really don't use a lot of that technology until much later. And kind of back to what the headmaster's message was, he was saying, when your kid does get to the grade that they are having to do homework that they need to get on the internet, he was like, I recommend they have a space in the house where they do their computer work where you can see all of their tabs.
Yeah.
Just be thoughtful about how your kid is engaging with these screens, because the PTA at our school is doing a book study on the book Anxious Generation. And I don't know if y'all have talked about or heard of this book at all, but it's about all the research that's coming out now, particularly around social media and just like how kids don't know how to be bored anymore and how like they don't know how to be social anymore. And it's because of all of these things.
Do
And
you guys
so,
let your kids like go on the internet? Like, I feel like
no,
still like,
but you know what?
like,
I know other first graders that do.
oh, I know too, but I'm like, she doesn't like, if she, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't know like the internet, like, like
No.
she knows about the internet, but like, she
Well,
doesn't like,
I've noticed, like, I had a tutor briefly for Zoe, and it was like an online tutor. And it was like such a game changer because I would log her on and like get started. And then it was this like 45-minute lesson. But when it was over, like if I didn't go back in there, she would stay on the computer and she would go to Google and she would type in like zoo, which is like it was really interesting, but it was so like, oh my gosh, now that she can spell, or she would type in like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like a, whoa, like this kid could get on and like the zoo's great. Like she was literally watching like live videos of like panda bears. So I'm like, sweet and so innocent, but it was like, it was eye opening to be like, if I left her, like if I was cooking dinner and she was in here for another hour, like you could see how you click on zoo and then you click on like something else and something else. And it's like,
It's
and
a
she even at one point she put in Zoe. She put in her name and then all these people come up and some are like, I don't know what they're doing on the internet, but like just like their picture is very like sexy and like dark makeup. And it was like she was just trying to see like her name, but it was like all these women, like even if it was just a LinkedIn profile, like it was like an odd, like, oh my God, she could access parts of the internet on accident is how it felt. It was like she's so little, she would never mean to, but that's how I feel. So I'm like, it only takes like one weird turn down the internet lane. I don't know. And there's some kids in her life, in her circle, that I think, I'm not sure because I'm not going to like ask the parents, but I think they get like pretty much free reign. Like one of those situation where one parent's still at work, one parent works from home. So they get home and there's just kind of like
She just goes on.
supervision from a distance because like still making phone calls and stuff. So I think there's a lot of YouTube, like, and I don't know if it's like the kids tube or just straight up YouTube, but I'm like, you can just tell this kid like sees some things or knows some things. She's a little more advanced. Like we're talking like a second grader that's like just wanting to like kiss boys and do like, it's like, and my kid's like nowhere near there. So I'm like, I don't know what to blame. Like it, and it's not that.
Well, 'cause I feel like it happens to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't let her, or I mean, Willow can't do YouTube, but like, I don't let her use YouTube. And that will be a thing where she's like, well, all my friends go on like YouTube or whatever. And that's again where you're like, well, different family, different rules. But then like, we were even talking about, like, I was talking to Luke about setting up for tonight. And she's like, well, what are you doing? And then I feel like shitty being like, oh, I'm trying to get a YouTube channel. Like, you'll never see it. Like, you know what I mean?
We've already been asked it. And I was like, work meeting? Like, I'm just saying it's a meeting. And I'm like, and then she's like, but it's your friends. And I'm like, it's nice to meet with friends. Like, because I refuse to say, like, because there is that, there's something about it that kids love.
We have been this is over a year ago now, maybe 2 years. She's almost 7. We have been letting her watch YouTube somewhat regularly, like not a ton.
Like it's not all trash.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there are like, you can have somebody read you a book, or you can.
I love the read you a book.
You know what I mean?
It's like when you start letting them click by themselves, it just starts spiraling. And then they're like watching kids play with toys, and that gets really weird to watch.
That's such a weird thing.
Like,
I love that. It's like,
we've never watched that. That was the one thing where I'm like, this is too weird for me. Like, go play with your own toys.
Somebody pointed out to me because I complained about that, and they're like, oh yeah, so weird to watch someone else live their life. And I'm like, it's all I watch. As an adult, I'm watching
Yeah.
like Desperate
Yeah.
Housewives or
I guess
Eldentown
true.
Sisters. Like I'm just
Yeah.
watching trash of people living their life.
It's
And
a
I'm like,
kid
it's the
version.
exact same thing as an adult. So I'm like, what is it about the human brain? I don't know if it's like the social creatures thing where we like just want to relate, but I'm like, I agree with you, Julian. Like, again, for my no moderation is I'm like, I can watch YouTube shorts for 4 hours. I can be exhausted, laying in bed. Like I talk a big game because I'm not on social media. I don't scroll. I don't doom scroll or whatever it's called. But I'm like, but boy, you get me on those YouTube shorts. And I'm
And
like,
you're out.
that addiction of just like mindless, quick, fast, like, I'm like, it does something to your brain where I'm like,
Well, I even
addicted
feel like
personality.
from it, like, I feel like only maybe it's been like a year and like I never went to the shorts tab because I was like, I can't get into this. And then one night, I was feeling a little freaky and, and now it's like, but now I feel like I can barely watch like full YouTube videos. Like I feel like even to my old, like mature, rotted out brain, like it's done something, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like,
Well,
it's
but
not
I will tell y'all this. So
sure.
we did the like, hey, Justice, you can't watch YouTube anymore. Then it was a little too strict. And what I realized, so Justice has very thick hair. And typically black moms will tell you, we do our kids' hair once, maybe twice a month. But when we do it, it's a several hour commitment. It's like a two to 4 hour
I
thing to
watched some
make it
YouTube
last.
shorts about that. Don't know how it gets my like thing. But like, it's so, because I can't even get these two turds to like brush their hair. And I see like these black moms, or just with like, you black kids, and like, it's like the whole, like they wash their hair in the sink, and then
Yes,
they
it's a
do like the whole,
deal.
like the whole thing. And I'm just like, how?
Undid braids tonight.
Yeah.
And I washed her hair. That's all I had time to do. I
Okay.
couldn't even style it again. So I undid braids.
Yeah.
I washed, and then I like detangled, and she's
Okay.
going to school tomorrow with it detangled.
Okay.
Then tomorrow, put new braids in. That'll last us 2 weeks. But this is what I was going to tell y'all.
Yeah.
I realized that YouTube is wildly effective at making her sit still. Like if I can put on a movie, I can let her play a game, I can get out the tablet. Nothing is as effective as getting her head to stay in one position as YouTube. So the rule in our house now is you only watch YouTube when you get your hair done. So literally, if I'm like, I'm thinking about doing your hair later, but I don't know if we'll have time. She's like, please, let's do my hair today. Just so she can watch YouTube.
Here's my like short answer is I'm like, use it, don't let it use you. Does that make sense? Because I'm like, I feel that way about screens where I'm like, man, they are dangerous. But I'm like, if you can use it and it's not like using you, rotting your brain, rotting your kids, I'm like, yes. Because that's what I do with the tablet essentially is like, there's something about holding it versus like turning something on the TV. So we save it for car rides. And I'm like, and we love, like, it's such a, and it's got to be like over an hour. Like, this is not just driving to school.
Oh God.
It's like such a treat for my husband and I because all the other car rides were like, what do you need? Stop bickering. Here's a marker, color. And then when we go on a longer trip, it's like headphones on, tablet in hand, and we can finally just like sit and chit chat. And so it's like, it's the same thing. I'm like, there's a time and a place where I'm like, and then for you, like Julianne, you were saying that like, you're like, I just don't care. I don't care. I'm going to use it like in moderation. Like, I have talked to so many friends that they're having major power struggles. Like when it's time to turn off the screen, their kids acting out or their kids. So like, this is my thing too, where I'm like, I can get on a soapbox and I can preach because like I am very kind of dedicated to what I'm doing and I can talk about high schoolers. And
do you think if you were like a stay-at-home parent, it might be different or no? I mean, I know you can never like,
I think it's
like,
the teacher in me. Again, I feel like tonight I've talked a lot about like being a teacher. But I'm like, again, I'm parenting my kids for like how I see like I have a 7-year-old and I'm parenting how I want them to be when they're 17. And I spend all day with 17-year-olds. and it is the best. Yeah. But you're just, I mean, I'm watching like people talk about like, why are teachers burnt out and why, what's changed in schools? And I'm like, it's a weird answer, but I'm like, apathy. Apathy is it. Like when I think, I mean, we were wild in high school with just like pranks and throwing stuff at each other and even like cheating and passing notes. Like it was all very active. And I'm like, we have classes now of 30 kids where like, you're like, hey, let's play a game. What'd you do today? Let's do a da-da-da. Like, and the kids are just like, can we just have the work? Like, can we just, but it's like every chance they get, they pull out their phone. They're playing games. They always keep one earbud in. You're constantly having to be like, take it out, take it out. And then they have like their little shaggy hair. So it's just in there and you don't know it.
So I feel like our district just like, I got an email, but I didn't pay attention because I felt like it didn't apply to me. Anyways, but I think our district just said like no cell phones, no any technology like that in school.
I would be,
but I'm like,
if they are doing it at the high school level, they're going to make national news if they can do it effectively.
We'll have to circle back to, let me go, I'll have to go through my email and like see, but I'm pretty sure, because I was like, well, nobody has this, you know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure they said no cell phones, no smartwatches, no, like nothing.
Here's the thing, you guys. Bottom line, that's not going to work in America because we are a capitalist society and they make money off of our kids being addicted to those devices and social media. Australia passed a law 2 weeks ago banning social media for anybody under the age of 16. But that is their total country and their government getting on board and saying that with no parental exemptions or for consent, that this is not okay for our children, that this is screwing up their brains and we will not allow it as like a society. I don't think America's ever going to come to that. And I think you're right that like any district that's trying will likely be very much short-lived.
Yeah. Let me check the email and I'll let you know.
Yeah. The parent that doesn't read the email.
Well, it's probably like whatever.
Yeah, with a first grader, you're like, okay, great.
I'm like,
no phone.
Yeah.
I also have to share, this just came up at a little get together where I was like, I'm storing this one away and I know we're not quite talking cell phones, but my connection to like, my kids will not be raised with technology. Again, it's to these high schoolers that are so addicted to their phones.
Yeah.
And then this one parent with like slightly older kids, she talked about she's bringing back the house phone. And I'm like, genius. It's so simple. So her kid, she's got like a 5th grader and his friends are all getting phones because kids are getting phones in like 4th grade. So you're like on an island where you're like, my kid is not getting a phone that young, but they're also missing out. And then you have kids that are starting to text parents because like that's the only way they can communicate. So like parents joke about they're getting a text message from a 5th grader that's like, hey, could so-and-so come out and play? And you're like, I'm not managing your personal like contact in my cell phone. So anyway, I'm just like, as a little teaser, I'm like a home phone and with a little address book with all the little phone numbers in it. So like they can call. Cause if you think about what it's teaching them, I'm like, they can still communicate. They learn to speak on the phone.
Yeah.
They're not left out. So if someone wants to reach them, they learn how to say, hello, you've reached the blah, blah, blah residence. Like, it's like really interesting. Cause I'm like, I think that's going to be like a village of moms where you're like, bring back the home.
I'm here for it. Bring back the house phone. Bring back the house phone.
I would literally let like now, because you're competing against cell phones, like 30 years ago, I wouldn't let my 7-year-old have a house phone. It just wasn't a thing. But I'm like, now if you're competing against cell phones, I'm like, I would let my 7-year-old call up like her cousin and her cousin could just sit there and chit chat about friggin' whatever. Like, that's way better than watching TV. It's way better than giving her any kind of technology.
Or do you remember like back in the day, like, do you think star 6-7, remember? Like star 6-9? You think they're still like a thing?
Yeah.
I'll report back when I get this house line. And
well, okay, so I have pen pals written down, and now we all need.
We're all getting house phones.
Yeah, home.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, what are y'all nailing and failing this week?
Oh, nailing and failing.
I'm like, you guys got me all fired up. I'm nailing the screen time. I hate them, and I'm like, I feel very proud that I'm like, nah, we're not doing screen time. 5 out of 7 days, we are living in the dark age.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with you for that.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
all.
Thanks.
I'm not that impressed.
No, it takes 2 weeks. I'm telling you, I tell everyone that's having the power struggles, I'm like, 2 weeks. The first week will be hell. The second week, it'll start to fade away. And I'm like, I've had some other friends do it, and they've like come back around to be like, thank you. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not fighting
Yeah.
with my kids anymore. So I'm like, it doesn't
I don't
sound like
fight
you
with
guys
them
do.
though. That's the thing. If
I
I was
know. I was
fighting,
gonna say, it doesn't
yeah,
sound like
yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's
That I
like,
could
it's not a
understand.
fight.
Yeah, we're good. We're chill over here. But okay, so that's your nailing. Yeah. Okay. What am I now? Well, I'm nailing. So we're having a gingerbread party, like decorating party tomorrow. Stella is. So like 5 of her little girlfriends are coming over. I'm like, I did it up. I'm like
Cool.
nailing it. Yeah, I feel even Stella was like, Mom, I think you went overboard. I'm like, that's like my middle name. Like, yeah,
That
when we
is
throw
your middle
parties,
name.
I go overboard. Like, it's what I do.
Yay.
But I feel like really good about it. It's been nice to like, I just love like party planning and focusing on like an event like that.
Oh, that's great. As a
I-
mom that's not the planner, on
Yeah.
all of us, we thank you planners. Like
Yeah.
party planners. I'm like, I went to one last weekend. We got a cookie party this week. I'm like, thank you
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much to the moms that will do this for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. But so yeah.
I
What
am
nailing?
nailing. Do y'all consign? Do y'all go to kitty consignment shop?
Oh, can
I wish I did.
so I'm like a big
Okay,
Goodwill person. I go to Goodwill. But
listen, I went to a kitty consignment shop this week. So, we got the babies.
yeah.
And they weren't walking when we got them. So,
Yeah.
like, they didn't come with shoes. And nobody bought us shoes in the baby shower or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta get these kids some shoes. Seven
Yeah.
had shoes, but Ocean didn't have shoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, kids' shoes are expensive still. Like, a baby Nikes are $50. And I
Yeah. And
refuse.
you have no idea how long, like it could be
How long
1
you gonna
week
have
and
'em?
like bigger size.
Y'all,
Yeah.
I racked up on kitty shoes. I racked up. We've got
Yeah.
multiple pair of boots. We've got Nikes. We've got unused, like, they were all so, like, gently used or not used at all. The ones that we
Yeah.
got, they're in 5 and 6 toddler right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got, like, 10 pair of kid shoes for $72 at the kitty
Yeah.
consignment shop, and
That's
I feel like a winner.
oh my God. Yeah. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
That's
sleep on the kitty consignment shop.
yeah.
I've had friends that have been like very against it. Like, no, my kid will not wear used clothing or use anything, like only new for my baby. And I'm like, you go, girl. But
Yeah.
I'm going up here to this kitty consignment shop. And I found some deals.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
deals this week. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
definitely nailing that.
Well, thank God you got some shoes for your kiddos over there, Like, yeah.
Yes. And they're
It's
walking.
getting
so I
cold,
don't
I'm going to
need
say.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Nice.
awesome. I don't do a ton of consignment because I have a couple older kid friends, like the friends that are
They
just,
hand them down.
yeah, and consistently, like every couple months, I have 2 friends that are like, here's 4 bags full of stuff. And I'm like, and it's
Yeah.
way better stuff than I would ever buy. So I'm like, yes, thank you. You
Yeah.
are my personal consignment shop.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
All right,
Okay.
what do
Okay,
y'all
tell
feeling?
me what I'm feeling.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Lindsay
Man.
already knows this because she
Okay.
was here when this thought started to percolate. I'm failing at dog motherhood. Yeah, so we got a puppy
When'd you
earlier
get a
this
puppy?
year. We got a
Oh,
puppy earlier this year before
we
we
got a
got the
puppy.
baby.
Okay, last year. We got a puppy the end of December last year. So
Yeah, so we have a 1-year-old Kavashan and
okay.
a 1-year-old boy and a 1-year-old girl
Yeah,
and
it's
a
a lot of
6-year-old girl.
1-year-olds.
A lot of
Yeah.
1-year-olds. And so I officially gave in to the Wilson needs to be rehomed this week. And we found a home for him. And
Okay.
he's moving out next week.
Are you sad about it, or are you like this?
I'm like relieved
Okay.
and
Yeah.
feel like a failure a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm
A
like,
lot.
it's just a dog. Like, we should be able to handle a dog and like these kids. People have dogs and kids all the time.
Yeah.
But apparently I can't. And it's just like, he's a 1-year-old, like, lap dog who just needs constant attention and is very reactive and active and he just needs a lot. And like I think the thing that finally sent me over is the babies have been sick for the last couple of weeks, so I haven't been walking them. So if I don't walk them, I don't walk him. So he's just been like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And we just were like, you know what, dude, this isn't working out. Side is we found like a beautiful family. It's a couple who already has one frou-frou dog. They want another frou-frou dog to spoil.
Oh my God. So he's gonna have an amazing life.
He's
probably like, bye.
Yeah. And they don't have kids, and they're intentionally not having kids. So I'm like, this is perfect for him. Like he's just gonna go live his best dog life. This is awesome.
Yeah.
But I did have to break the justice and feel like a failure there.
Yeah.
So not nailing that, but we're gonna get through it.
You're gonna get through it. Yeah.
That's a good one. Because that hurts, but it's definitely better for the dog.
Yeah.
And the family and the human.
Yeah. Everyone involved.
Everybody involved. Yeah. Huh.
So mine, we talked about this last week, the first stomach bug, but we are failing. We have had round 2 of the stomach bug. So I feel okay. Kevin feels okay, but both my kids this week, Sunday night, and then Zoe was home from school today. So I'll just go.
I didn't give it to you this time.
I know.
Congrats.
Well, I was going to make the joke that I'm like, I think it was the gingerbread party they went to because there was like cups of candy everywhere.
Yeah.
And the kids were just like reaching in. So I'm like, just have your kids wash their hands before they start their gingerbread building.
So, like 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, we got the stomach bug and basically just kept getting it from like December into January. Like it was just, and I think just like passing it to one another. So it was just like,
awful.
Everywhere. Like, I
actually feel fortunate that I'm like, this one was like a 12-hour, like Lila had it 12 hours through the night. It was a rough night, but then it was like, and she stayed home from school, but she was like, anyway, like, I'm like, I don't know. It was recent enough from Vernita's house that I'm like, yeah, no, we'll just take this little 12-hour nighttime and then like, just like, whew, keep it moving. So fingers crossed. But it's, everything up. I'm like, work becomes more stressful. The house, the cleaning, the laundry, the blankets, and the sheets.
And then also just being like, I feel like I need to disinfect like
everything.
You know what?
Yeah.
So exactly. All right, but you're the last one, Julianne.
Oh man, what am I feeling? I'd say like my finances a little bit, just with like the holiday season.
Christmas,
and
you
like
overdid it on the gingerbread house.
I overdid it a little bit with the party. I've overdone it like just a little bit with like I just feel a little like you gotta reel it in here, girl. Like, and we're gonna go on vacation the end of like the year, so it just is like, well, like you need to like get it together. I just feel
into
little.
This year or into next year.
I just can't see past like Christmas right now. I'm like, I can't like, don't talk to me about anything until Christmas passes because that's all I can focus on. But yeah, financially, I feel like I've been failing a little bit, But, I'll be in the poorhouse, but going on vacation.
This is another episode of Momtradiction. Next time, possible topics might include school choice, because I want to hear more about Vernita's. So if you are watching, like and subscribe and leave a comment about what we should talk about next. We can even bring in some guests for some things if we get to the right topic. So thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.